Welcome to Duck Confession Booth with Dylan and Steven, where nothing's off limits and everything's on the table. We're talking hot takes, weird obsessions, and the stuff that just gets under our skin. If we love it, hate it, or just can't stop thinking about it, you're going to hear about it right here. So pull up a seat, clear your conscience, or don't. This is Duck Confession Booth. Let's talk about it.
Are we recording?
Oh, thank goodness. We were not recording. Thank goodness you asked that. I totally forgot.
I was sitting there, just like, wait a minute. Normally, don't immediately jump into it.
No, because I was like, oh, yeah, we're talking and everything. I'm explaining how I mix your voice and stuff. And like, I was planning on saying that's why you sounded different from the last one, because I didn't get like the individual files. It was all one file. So I couldn't edit both our voices. And then I was like, all right, let's start talking about power creep.
It's like, oh, yeah, sure. Wait, we've been recording this entire time? I was about to
Nope.
get information.
Nope, we have not been recording, but we are now. That was a good call on your end.
Hey, I have my moments.
Ooh, we would have been like 30 minutes in and still not have started.
Oh, God. I had that whole conversation.
And I'd look down and like, oh, we have to restart.
Right. So, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just the amount of time we have this evening. You know, that's just always
exactly.
So power creep.
We love it. We hate it. We
generally hate it.
Yep.
I think there are only a few instances where power creep is like, yo, that's cool. And like nobody flashes.
Yeah, it's hard because like the very definition of power creep means that it's better than the old stuff.
Okay, so let's qualify that what I was just stating at the very least. When I state meaning it's better, as in the fan base appreciates it, not that it's statistically going to allow more wins, which is what I think you were pointing.
Okay. Yes, that's what I was pointing to.
Okay, yeah. I was going more about for
like it's like fundamentally better than what came out before, making the original stuff outdated and not playable.
Functionally exactly that. To provide maybe better definitions and examples, just so that way we can have that as a baseline to start talking from. Power creep is functionally the secondary generation or following generations of a given mechanic or game or whatever it is that we're talking about being more effective than the previous generation. Is effective a fair word?
Yeah, I would say that, because it's not always more powerful or stronger. It could be like
cheaper,
more defensive. Cheaper. Yeah. There's a bunch of different things that quantify power creep.
Yeah, functionally, it is in the context of a meta, the older material is functionally unusable. Maybe is a way of wording it.
Yeah, it's like outdated.
It's outdated. Yeah. So it'd be like, we're playing Halo ODST and we're comparing an Xbox 360 variation to the Xbox One variation, and
obviously Xbox One is better.
Xbox One is statistically better, so as a result, you would expect it to win more, or players using that would win more often than not, if that's the only factor.
Yep.
So, do you want to lead? Because I can. I'm fine either way.
Let's see. I mean, there's definitely power creep in Pokemon itself.
Oh God, yeah.
That's like one of the biggest things that people talk about in the Pokemon scene when they're like talking about older generation versus newer.
Are we talking specifically VGC, or are we talking generically?
Generically, but also VGC. Like with VGC, there's definitely viability for most generations. It's definitely stronger the newer you get, because I mean, you get the first few generations, there wasn't even abilities until Generation 3.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect if you're bringing it forward, technically, right?
It's true. It's very true, because then you can just give it whatever it has.
Yeah.
And you got ability patches and stuff, but then you got, what is it? I've been seeing a lot lately, the Zamazenta and Zacian. Mainly Zamazenta, the dogs,
The dogs.
legendary dogs, the Sword and Shield.
Oh, the Sword and Shield puppers. Gotcha.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
So this past weekend was actually the Worlds for Pokemon.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I watched a couple of the VGC battles, and a lot of them had the Shield dog.
So, what is the meta currently for VGC based off what you're seeing? You got the dogs, but like, what else is
Hmm.
supporting and all that other fun stuff?
So there were the dogs. Obviously, you had the Calyrex, Ice Rider, or Shadow Rider. And Deities. I didn't really see any Mungus.
Really?
Yeah,
Because he was a
there
he
were-
was a
there was
good
some
all
Urshifu.
slash support for such a long time.
There's definitely some Urshifu.
Yeah, Urshifu's ability to crit and pass through protect
Protect.
is pretty crazy.
Insane. Just Unseen Fist. I mean, that's like the prime example of power creep.
Yeah, actually, that would be a great example. Do you want to quickly
hmm
highlight that?
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's the first ever Pokemon that has the ability where they can one of their move they have, depending on the different style, it always crits. One of them hits 3 times, and both of them have the ability Unseen Fist, which makes it to where they can hit through Protect, which is supposed to be a move that protects you from all damage.
Now, to quickly interject here, because fun facts, because I like to read into the details way too far, as we both know. So, protect, the only other time in like Pokemon history slash generations where protect was like, let's say, useless for lack of better
It was
phrasing.
Phantom Force.
Okay, well, Phantom Force. Okay, yeah. So Phantom Force is a two-turn move that allows you to bypass protect. You also have Horn
Yeah.
Drill, which is a move that allows you to bypass protect.
Yep.
However, those are one-off moves that they're okay. But the thing
Yeah, not
is,
like a single just Pokemon can do it.
yeah, you actually aren't those usual. Okay, Phantom Force is specific to, or not specific. Sorry, it's any type of ghost type. Generally speaking, you're able to use it.
Yep.
It's just that there's not a lot that can really use it, and it's a two-turn move, making it
hmm
really hard to use without getting punished. Now, that
Exactly.
being stated, I think what generation are we on right now? Is it eight, nine,
9?
12,
I think
9?
it's 9.
I want to say
I'm
like
pretty sure
Generation
9.
7. Generation 7 allowed when it was raining for lightning, a move that is normally 70% accurate that becomes 100% accurate when it's raining, to have a
Thunder.
30 thunder, thank you, to have a
Yes.
30% chance to bypass protect.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yes. Yeah, it's just insane. It's like, what the heck? Why? I mean, don't get me wrong. To a degree, it makes sense, etc. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's like completely unheard of or anything, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
and
it's
then
also
Gen
just
7 was Sun and Moon. So
yeah.
Alola region.
I think that's right.
It is. Well, at least my end.
Oh no, I meant like with the rain. Yeah, I meant the rain aspect. That's fair. Uh, yeah, it's just yeah. It's like, what the heck. So yeah, it's just a unfortunately great example of power creep. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, that was generationally limited, so like that
Yeah.
part at the very least is something that they could like remove from it all. But otherwise,
hmm
it's like, dang, that's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Now, flip side, looking at like, hey,
That was my flip noise.
it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Um,
He stuck
if
the landing, as you could tell.
if we're looking,
It was the not the.
it reminds me of a different sound effect for something that is completely not appropriate appropriate for what's talking about. Not important. So if you look at something like Yu-Gi-Oh, if you remember back,
Yep.
we were messing around with that for a little bit.
I
Man,
do remember that, and I had a newer deck than you, and it was
oh
like you
my
couldn't
god,
stop it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is interesting, right? Because they do what they do is they first things first, they add a mechanic, right? So every
Yep.
generation of the, at least the TV show, they add a mechanic. You had classic OG where it's just summon, special summon. Then they
hmm
started getting more fancy with the effects, allowing for more and more like special summoning. Even though I think you're only supposed to be allowed to special summon once per turn or something like that.
Okay.
They basically provided effects to bypass that. Then they started
Hey.
getting what?
No, I was just saying, a
Yeah,
effects to bypass stuff.
yeah, bypassing. So then they started getting into, let's see, they had fusion summoning. That was very early on. I'm trying to remember what the immediate thing they jumped to after that, but functionally you had pendulum summoning, link summoning, XYZ summoning, number summoning, um, link summoning, if I didn't already mention that. Like they basically have like a crud ton of newer mechanics that are supposed to synergize to a payoff. I think pendulum summoning is an example of like where it doesn't pay off because you
Okay.
need to have, if I'm not mistaken, a lower number and a higher number, and that allows you to summon for free monsters that are between those star counts. Could be wrong,
Okay.
but it's hard to pay off because you need the pendulum monster specifically, and because
Hmm.
card games are designed to be random via the deck, unless you are
Yeah, you
able
can't
to.
like guarantee it.
Yeah, so it means like pot of greed, which is draw two. Was it draw two cards, right? That's
I think
banned
so.
in like most formats, if I'm not mistaken. At the very
Yeah,
least,
but
limited
it
to
also
one.
has a very weird face.
It also does have a very weird face, one of which has gone down in meme history.
Yes, it
I
has.
appreciate.
You might not know that you know something from Yu-Gi-Oh, but you might because of Pot of Greed.
Yeah, yeah. So
You
it's
just you
one of
know the face without
I,
knowing the game.
I think the, let's say, most obvious instance of power creep when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh is the amount of text fit onto the bottom
Oh
of the
my gosh,
cards.
yes. It's literally paragraphs now.
It's to the point where it's paragraphs. And honestly, even back then, like it was pretty crazy. I remember, was it Thousand's Eye Restrict was one of my like favorite cards as a kid. It's a one
Mhm.
star 0/0, and it basically locks up the entirety of the board unless someone's able to destroy it. It
Oh wow.
genuinely was insane. But reading through that as a kid, I was like, I do not understand what half
Yeah.
of this things. And it's like the Egyptian god cards. Like even those had like actual paragraphs listed in the descriptions, and it gets bad to the point where you might need a magnifying glass. But that right there is a classic example of power creep. It's
Mhm.
the game itself went from where you would go like several like turns in a singular game to now where we're at, where the game is decided on the first turn or second turn, being like the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Um, and if it literally is just determined right then and there. One of like the clear examples of that is the fact that you just have these massive combo chains. If I remember correctly, I think um, XYZ Dragon Cannon and like all of those from like the classic OG, they kept
Mhm.
expanding on that set to the point where you're able to just actually go insane with summoning. To the point where on your first turn, with your first hand, you're able to
Yeah.
summon the entirety of what you need and kill your opponent, basically just going first, or
Dang.
on your first turn. Yeah, yeah. And so what wound up happening is we're at the point where your entire deck is basically comprised of your combo chain, whatever you need to basically get out whatever you need on the first turn, and
Mhm.
a select number of counters. Like to give you an example, I think the most classic one at this point is Ass Blossom, which more or less uh, it's like Karibo, where you could just kind of like play it from hand, and in this particular instance, with Ash Blossom, it counters something your opponent does. I don't know if it specifically
Okay.
destroys a monster or if it's specifically counters like spell or otherwise, but
Mhm.
it straight up, you will have entire games where player goes through this massive combo. They spend like 5 minutes summoning things, and then someone plays Ash Blossom at like a very specific moment, and then the person just literally quits because they cannot compete it. I am not joking to
That's
you. It is that crazy.
wild. That is wild.
That is like the most obscene amount of like power creep I have ever seen in existence. Because at the very least, for
Mhm.
other games, like what was it, like Pokemon VGC? It's like very rare that you see a game decided in 2 turns, right?
Yeah, no, extremely rare.
Usually, it's, what was it? The average I think is around 5 or 6, right?
I think so. It sounds about right.
Yeah, because even in the context
Definitely
of,
most is 10. Most.
I was gonna say, when I was initially trying to look stuff up for VGC, it seemed like on average the most, because obviously, like you stated, like the most is what you're pointing out.
Yeah.
I'm pointing out the average of most. Usually seems to be 7 or 8.
Yeah.
7 or 8 seems to be like longer games. But I would agree with you. You're probably not getting to 10 unless you're either playing incredibly underpowered or the opponent is playing a stall deck that is so effective. It's like, what do you do? I say deck,
Yep.
stall team that is so effective.
And
Um,
then what
yeah,
is it? I slowly got into Magic because of you.
literally over the course of talking about it in the last week, just like, yeah, let me pick up a
Yep.
bunch of stuff. It's bad.
Not even pick up anymore.
I'm so I'm
I,
building
I
two
did
decks. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So I did get what was it? Ajani Unyielding and Benefactor's Drought.
Okay,
Those are
well,
two
I gotta.
cards for one deck that I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
It's the one that I sent you, the first one.
Oh, right. The
The one that uses Gabriel Angelfire with
yeah, the whole
Rampage
premise
3.
being that you was it you attack, or I think was it you attack, your opponent defends, and then you just do over damage or something like that.
Yeah, basically for every enemy creature that is blocking, your commander gets like plus
A
three
buff.
three.
Yeah, and that's incredibly dangerous. And how many tokens someone might have, because that's a pretty
Yeah.
common um, tactic, at least I think amongst mostly white. Uh,
Mm,
they generate a bunch of 1/1 tokens most often, not always 1/1 tokens, but generally 1/1 tokens. So as a result, every time you would try to block with a 1/1 token, you're just giving your opponent an additional +2 instead of reducing it.
yeah. And then what else? And then there was a bunch of cards in it to like cause your opponent to block. So it's just like, oh, you think you're fine? No.
Nope,
And
I'm going to
then
force you to
I
block and hit you in
have
the face anyway.
exactly. And then I have a starter deck coming in on, it says Monday. Um and basically that one it's called Chaos Incarnate,
Okay,
and it's basically it's definitely more helpful when there's more than just two,
and
because
that's
it's
the
all
main.
about making people attack others.
Oh, is it what is the mechanic? Goading?
Yeah, goading.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's pretty much worthless when it's not more than two.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
funnily, go ahead.
yes and no, because like
Oh,
with
prevents
I
blocking,
can't
right?
remember, like Doom Scourge, it prevents blocking, so they're always tapped, and then or not tapped, one of the two, and then also you can't attack me.
Um, wait, with goat?
No, with the specific commander
Oh,
that it comes with, Doom
okay,
Scourge.
gotcha. Because I was about to say, like, wait a minute. I've studied this a lot more than I really would like to admit.
And then it's also where like if this person attacks, everyone loses, or like no, it's if this person doesn't attack, everyone loses a point and I gain a point of life.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. And so I've looked into a couple different decks, and I'm like, let's see what I can do.
No, and I think that's completely fair.
I
Um,
gotta
I
learn. I've never played.
I played a bit in high school, basically over lunch, because people would like bring in decks and they'd just be like, "Hey, you can play for me. I'm going to eat." I was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, sure, why not?" And so I have a deck that was originally based on Graveyard Overdrive.
Yep.
The entire premise is graveyards give you more power. I
Hmm.
completely, pretty much dismantled it, minus like the core concept of the Goths, which
Yeah.
have power based off the graveyard, and added in a secondary condition of where the fudge is this guy called? Rendlaw Creaking Nest. The entire premise is that whenever a card with two or more types are played, it generates a bunch of tokens for everybody, and most of them are goaded, and as a result, it just wreaks havoc. Um,
Yeah. Which we love Havoc.
which we love Havoc. Well, at least I would say we love Havoc. So I actually wound up playing a game on Saturday with some of
Okay.
down here. Yeah. The ones who got me into this
And
specifically.
how'd it
Um,
go? How'd it go?
oh, it went disastrously. Like this is I would like to. You could go ahead and confirm or deny. I don't often get very upset or salty when it comes to most things. There are
Most
specific
things,
things
yeah,
that
it's true.
will get me off, like
Yes,
uh,
multiplayer.
what would be sorry, what'd you say?
Multiplayer.
Okay, look. I don't inherently dislike multiplayer. I played Black Ops
Invaders,
2 for forever. Okay, whoa. Okay. The problem with Invaders for like the FromSoft series is that they just come in with the literal strongest stuff, and then they
and
press
they just
one
kill
button
you.
and die.
It's so annoying.
Exactly. It's so annoying. And when it happens every 30 seconds, and I mean like literally every
Yeah,
30
it
seconds, because you activate the
sucks.
thing and you're the only person in the game, so as a result you immediately get swarmed.
Yep.
It sucks. So
And
between
then the other
that
one
and being told that
is
you need to uninstall
toxic.
slash go kill yourself,
Yes.
that
Yep,
right
yep.
there, that's unreasonable.
Yes,
Because
very
there's no
unreasonable.
reason when I'm only playing casual that I should
It's
be
a
told that
video
my
game,
life needs to be ended. Yes.
literally.
It's a
And this is why we
casual
don't play Smite.
game. God, man, yeah. I remember one time I was playing and like I died like twice kind of early on because my team wasn't backing me up and I was
Hmm.
overextending because my team wasn't backing me up and I was like, I can totally get this, couldn't get it, and then died, and they're just like, bruh, you need to just uninstall. I think what I did is I just
But
quit
then,
out because I just anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
But when we played together and it was us on this in the same row, we destroyed.
Oh my god, yeah. So what was it? We did
It was
Hell and
Hell and Eset.
Iris? Eset's the okay, I was gonna say
But
not trying
yeah,
not to say the original
yes.
name.
They changed the name to Eset.
It used to be ISIS.
It did used to be ISIS. But
That being
we
stated,
destroyed. Oh, I remember it was like we were losing so bad, and it was like, wait, just wait till we get ramped, and then you and I just kind of destroyed.
yeah, because what was it? The technique was I would just spam every form of healing and it
Yep,
would only go CC items basically,
yep.
defensive slash CC
And
items.
I went super aggressive items because that's how I play.
Well, not to mention your passive is was it you get enough kills and you generate
Yeah, and does
a
more
stamina
healing.
gen.
Yes, onks. Yeah, yeah.
So as a result, between the two of us, we
We would just
literally would
never run out of
spend
mana.
we would just spam abilities coming off of cooldown. So even though you'd be taking damage, unless you were able to get a literal one hit kill, that was just kind of it.
And I was so good at getting the stun off from the giant like light orb.
Yeah, yeah. So
Just
I
like
think trying to remain on topic here, the issue that Smite had specifically is that as new characters came out, they introduced
it was
more
so
CC.
CC. Oh, it was so
CC
CC.
being crowd control?
Crowd control. Yep.
Crowd control. So this would be
So
things
much crowd control.
these are functionally debuffs, right? We're talking about like movement is slowed or like maybe you
They can
can't use a
yoink you.
specific movement ability, or they yoink you, which is basically moving your physical location. So like it moves you in.
Displacement.
It's a displacement, and you can displace people into locations where they can't escape from. Slash, they take additional
They're just
damage.
dead. Which,
So
I mean, doing that with Sobek was amazing. You just lunge and hook them, throw them back into a tower. Loved that.
yeah, but like a lot of the earlier characters, even though they would have some variation of CC,
It
generally
was easy to
speaking,
get around.
it was easy to get around, or it was predictable, or there was a way you could play around that would provide you some variation.
Yep.
Of, okay, it sucks, but it's not that bad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is that as you
The
started
newer ones.
new and newer characters, everything was CC. So I think if I remember correctly, was it there's this the Tanuki guy, right? Um,
Yep.
his
I don't even
first,
remember his name.
it's been so forever. So he played as a DPS character. I think his ADC is the term, at least in League of Legends.
Yeah, they call them hunters in
Called hunters.
Smite.
That's right. So his main goal is deal damage, specifically single target damage. That's his whole goal.
Yep.
Usually their abilities are always some variation of like really pinpoint AoE slash some sort of damage buff, maybe an escape at most.
Yeah.
For this damn Tanuki, they gave his first ability was
Stupid raccoon.
yeah, it's a stupid trash panda. He would throw these like let's say like AOE's. It was basically like you're gonna have to help me out with describing this. It was the
They're like
three
gold bags.
directions. It was the gold bags, but how would you
Yeah,
describe like it as a pattern, right? It would be,
the fan.
yeah, it'd be
It
kind
was
of
a
like
fan pattern
basically a
or
fan.
like a triangle.
It was a fork. Let's say it's a fork. It was
Crossbow.
string and arrows of the crossbow. So basically, you had a forward line, a line at like 30 degrees to
And two
either side.
horizontal.
Yes. And as a result, they were pretty big, number one. Number two,
Yeah.
on impact, they provided you both an economy boost. They provided you with a light CC in the regards of your opponent becomes like drunk or something, where they like become harder like
Yeah,
hit
yeah. They
as
can't
well.
control their movement.
Yeah, like they still kind of can, but it's not that great. I think they lose some movement. His second
Yeah.
ability, if I'm not mistaken, is like an AOE, like where he throws like a jug, and he can choose a location to throw it. So he has like some distance and creates
Yes.
AOE.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It does damage on impact. From there, it also if you're in the zone for like what was it like 1.5 seconds or something that's like kind of
Yeah,
reasonable,
yeah.
pretty low. Like if you're in the dead center, you're probably not getting out. It
Yeah.
forces you to attack the barrel or the whatever the thing is, and as a
Whatever
result,
is thrown.
yeah, whatever that's thrown, and as a result,
Basically, it's like an aggro.
it's an aggro. It's like a tank aggro, yeah. So like you are forcibly stuck there. You can't do anything. You're just waiting it out. Um, Obviously, that's pretty strong. And then the third thing is a zone he can stand in that gives him an initial buff. Plus, if he leaves the zone, it acts as an escape by basically creating a bunch of like,
Turns into like a leaf
yeah, a bunch of cloned leaves that potentially allow you to escape because it'll
because you
mimic
don't know which one it is.
exactly.
And his ultimate is the rocket ship, where if you hit someone, they get stunned for a second or they just die
And
in general.
yes, and you have two options as well. You could control it, which allows
Yep.
you to go across the map basically, or you let it free fire if you're able to lock on to someone. So
Yep.
it's one of these things where it's like sitting there and looking at that and then comparing it to trying to think back to like a very easy example of like what is another hunter that doesn't have like any CC because the only thing that
Artemis.
Artemis is a
No,
pretty good
she
example.
has her traps.
Yeah, she has her traps in her board, but I
That's
think
really
it
it.
still is kind of like a good example, right? Because
Jingwei.
Artemis,
Here we go. Jingwei.
shoot, which one was Jingwei?
The one with the wings that can fly from the start area. Literally no CC in
Oh
our kit at
my
all.
God, you're right. The mobility girl. Right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what,
Or Ranma.
let's stick with Jingwei. I think
Jingwei.
you're gonna have to fill me on some of the abilities. I remember some of them. So like she has a passive that allows her to basically like fly to let's say like a quarter to a half the map depending on the size. Which
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, good for mobility. That's great. It's a good niche. What is her first ability?
I know one of the abilities buffs like
Buffs her
more
damage.
like her next few attacks.
Yes. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's an ADC normal thing. That's exactly what it is. But it's just a damage buff. It's not like it doesn't provide any CC, it doesn't slow, it doesn't do any of that other
Yeah.
stuff. I think
I
her
literally
alt
don't remember the rest.
is a giant like AoE where she like flies up and then she like
Yeah,
AoEs
her
herself.
ult is basically a stealth bomb
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
carpet bomb.
It's carpet bombing.
Yeah.
Jingwei Smite 1. Let me just quickly pull this up. No, I'm not in.
Yes, we don't get it wrong.
Sorry.
So we don't get it wrong.
Well, yeah, because I want to be able to talk about this and be like, because I think that this is rather significant to talk about.
It is. It is.
Okay, so we have Persistent Gust. Oh, isn't that the thing where it's like a small AoE that like throws you up for a second?
Yes, 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 yes. So that's her CC.
That's her CC, but her CC, understand, it's literally just like a little bit of damage, and
And
then
that's it.
well, it's a little bit of damage, but like it controls it keeps you moving in the direction. It's kind of like you jump, but without having like any kind of controller input.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't read what the third one is. The second one's explosive bolts. The third one's agility, which I think is just like additional movement. If I had to make a guess,
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Jingwei builds. Let's try this instead. Okay, that's literally nothing about the abilities. I'm going to try one more time. and it either works here or it doesn't work, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. And okay, here it is. Here it is. So, persistent gust creates a gust of wind that deals physical damage and knocks off enemy gods when deployed, and yourself always. It is very minor, a very minor thing, but mostly it's apparently a self buff, like self buff. Like it gives you both a attack speed and some variation of like a leap. Oh wait, her third thing's the leap. You use that with the air gust in order to move.
Yes, that's right. So like you had to have the other ability to do that ability.
Yeah. So like the only
So dumb.
CC she had was literally the persistent gust ability, which again is
the Tanuki was Danzaburo.
Yeah, it was Dunsonboro. Man. Great times. By great times I mean like I was
remember
fighting at first.
Remember I would play Hachiman a lot?
Yeah, Hachiman is another great example. He pretty much
loved Hachiman.
Explain. Go ahead and explain.
All right, let me click on him. It's
been a while.
I'm literally in the
3 years,
thing.
4 years?
Here we go. It's been a couple years. I mean, his first ability, Hachiman grows stronger as he lands his bows, hitting enemies. This is passive. If you hit enemies, you get stronger on like each attack.
Just damage.
Stack of 5, and the stacks last 8 seconds. Then his first ability is Eagle Eye. When Hachiman toggles on this ability, instead of basic attacking, he fires a series of arrows that travel further and deal additional damage. That's it. Just a blow a buff. And they can crit. Second ability, Hachiman calls down the banner from heaven, damaging all enemies in range, granting himself attack speed and leaving a banner which buffs him and allies' attack speed while within the range of the banner.
It can be functionally used as a targetable AoE. I think that's maybe
the best way which is what I used it for.
Exactly.
I either did that if they were on low health, or I'd throw it right on me if people were on me, and then I get more attack speed, which is what you need because then you would self buff yourself and you would crit people. Third ability, Hachiman dashes forward, damaging and passing through enemies. Upon reaching his destination, which is like a big area circle, Hachiman swings his blade in full circle, hitting all enemies in range. If hit by both attacks, so like the dash and the swing, enemy gods are stunned. So that's his CC, which you have to hit 2 attacks to even get.
Yep.
And then the ultimate, you get on a horse and charge forward. While mounted, he is immune to CC and can aim separately from the direction of his horse. He may fire to launch an arrow at every enemy within a cone, which that's it. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so but that exactly kind of highlights, right? We looked at like 2 of the earlier ones. We compared it to Danzanboro. We could probably look at one of the other more recent hunters if we can remember any of the ones that came out like later on. When we
I don't even know. There's this one that I don't even know what it is. It's called Nut. Literally N-U-T.
Okay, I think it's
Egyptian.
Yeah. I know my shit. Go ahead.
All right, so I don't even know what this person does. So we're gonna start.
It's a hunter.
With, right? Yeah, it's a hunter.
Please continue.
Starting with the passive. When Nut hits an enemy god with a damaging ability, she gains a stacking attack speed buff for 5 seconds. Nut may gain multiple stacks from a single ability. So attack speed.
Okay, it's a self buff. That's fine.
Yeah. First ability, Convergence. Nut enhances her basic attacks, firing 2 additional damaging projectiles from her sides at a converging angle. All projectiles pierce enemies, but not walls. With the center dealing basic attack damage and the sides dealing ability damage. Nut always shoots at least once, but may fire up to an additional 4 shots by gaining stacks when damaging enemies with basic attacks. Nut gains 2 stacks for damaging enemy gods. Nut may cancel this ability to refund unused shots as stacks.
Well, we can take an
more damage
about a secondary form of power creep, but we'll wait on that. But we'll come back to that specific thing in a moment.
Yes. So then her second ability, Crashing Comet. Nut calls down a comet from the sky, which crashes in a circular area, dealing damage. After it lands, it sends out a damaging shockwave in a larger area. Enemies hit by the comet take a second instance of damage and are rooted, while
Okay,
enemies
there's CC.
in the shockwave are trembled.
Okay,
Rooted, they can't move. Second shockwave, trembled is like, if I remember correctly, the weird walk.
that's the weird, like you can't aim. Is
Walk away.
yeah, it becomes
And
hard.
then,
Please, yeah, go ahead.
yes,
So ability 3.
third ability, warp. Nut warps in the direction she is currently traveling. After she warps, she automatically fires 3 homing projectiles that spread out among nearby enemies, prioritizing gods. These projectiles deal damage and apply a stacking slow to enemies. So another CC.
Another CC.
Additionally, Nut resets the cooldowns of Convergence after using this ability,
And that was the
which
first ability.
is the first one.
Yeah, okay.
So 2 CC. And
Here
now the
comes the
ultimate.
real moment here. I'm doing a drum roll, but you can't hear it. Oh,
Skyfall, which literally becomes CC immune
okay, that's fine.
and gathers all her energy, flying into the air and becoming untargetable for 3 seconds. Nut then may move and aim before firing a massive black hole, which sounds awesome, toward the battleground that lands after a short delay, dealing damage to all enemies. After the
Yeah.
black hole lands, a gravity surge extends outwards, damaging and pulling all enemies towards the
Another
center.
CC.
Another CC. Nut then lands, returning to her initial location. So 3 CC abilities.
3 3 3 3 3 3 3 3 3
3 out of
CC
4
abilities.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because when you look at
3 out of 4.
Artemis, which I think is like the first one of the first hunters like ever released in the flipping
Artemis was the first.
was the first. Damn. All right. So, if I
If I remember correctly.
her first ability, maybe the order is wrong, so don't hold me to it. One of her abilities is she has to place down a trap, but the trap is like very, like, let's say, quote unquote, obvious. You can see a symbol on the ground, and basically you just don't walk into it, but it'll root you in place for like a couple seconds.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. Okay, that's actually kind of
3
long,
seconds.
in all fairness.
Yeah, and her passive does 30% more damage to someone that's affected by crowd control.
Nut?
No, Artemis.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that kind of does make some sense because the idea is if you
Yeah.
trap them, you can then you then deal damage. But she's got to be so like quality comparative to like still
and you can only have
able to keep up because all the CC.
you can only have a max of 4 traps.
So basically, you have 4 opportunities to root someone in place. Can they still attack you? I forgot.
Yes.
Okay, so it's you can't.
You just can't move. Yeah.
Her second ability, I think, was a attack speed buff, being a self. It was definitely a self buff.
Yeah. Her attack and movement speed.
And her third ability, I think, was like an AOE arrow from the sky, which I think.
Yep. Yep. Damaged and slowed.
Shoot, are we about to disprove ourselves here? Because her
we are
deals damage and does a
and
stun.
Stuns. Yep.
Okay, so counterpoint. She's not that incredibly strong. She doesn't have any like escape.
She's just annoying.
She's just annoying given the proper like defense.
Yeah, but literally no escape.
But there's no escapes, right? Because when you look at like Nut, her ult acts as an escape. She goes up into the sky, is immune. She has plenty of time. She can just sort of sit up there. She has that warp third ability, which is also a movement ability. Yep. And then this is the final thing that I wanted to note. There's this whole concept of stacks, right?
Yep.
Which it's not inherently bad, right? Like there's plenty of like Hachiman, right? Has stacks, right? But the idea is that you don't have like all 3, right? That's when you start getting into that bleed over, right?
Yeah.
So while Artemis, I don't think Artemis had stacks, if I remember correctly when you were reading through that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she doesn't have stacks and she doesn't have escapes. She just has CC and like the basic damage she does. Hachiman does have an escape in regards to his horse. Otherwise, it's
and his dash, but it's a small dash.
Oh, okay. So fair enough. He has movement.
Yes.
But then when you go back to Danzenboro, the Tanuki from the beginning, he has escapes. He has at least 2 escapes, and he has at least what we said 3 CCs. And he
Yeah,
also has a stackable passive having to do with his money, right? Isn't it the more money he has, the more damage he does, or something?
something like that. Yeah,
So it's like you wind up with this bleed over where something that was once balanced, or at the very least, you could make the argument of like, oh, that's their gimmick, then bleeds into a well, now one thing just does everything.
exactly.
And this is going back several steps back to Magic. This is kind of where I have some respect for Magic. Their power creep is fairly, let's say, not that noticeable. I would argue.
Hmm.
Regards to okay,
It's
you have
definitely there, but it's not noticeable.
yeah.
It's more there for price of cards.
Sorry, you said it's there for their price and cards.
It's more power creep in price.
Okay, are we talking about mana price or dollar price?
Dollar.
Oh yeah, no dollar price. Well, in all fairness, I think like the decks that I've been building at most wind up being like $100 to $200, which don't get me wrong is still quite
Still
a bit.
good amount.
But when you consider like a base deck of like a recent release is like $60 and it's like not optimized, I think that's actually not that bad. Like it's bad, but it's not that bad, right? Now,
Yeah.
granted, this is for Commander, right? So we're talking about 100 cards. So we're talking about $1 a card by the time that the deck is finished, which
Hmm.
maybe $2 per card, which I would argue is not too bad when it comes to decks generally. Now, granted, I'm not building in the meta. I
Yeah.
know for sure that you can look at I think it's like Ezekiel. Don't hold me to that. But the whole premise of this like Ezekiel deck, and I'm going to mispronounce it and butcher the hell out of it because that's just me. It is a colorless deck,
Okay.
and the entire premise is that you're able to basically just summon a bunch of things that allow you to summon bigger things. That's kind of what it seems to be. And the main payoff is you get these giant monsters that basically break certain rules that would normally be established. It could be like protection from a certain color, or reshuffles your deck back into reshuffles your graveyard back into the deck,
Interior. Yeah.
while also being an 11/11 and doing something else.
That's insane.
It is insane because I think that like what I've noticed with Magic, because I remember seeing the other day there was a power creep via uh, lowest drop red cards. And it was actually really interesting. And one of the avatar cards actually made it onto that list as the newest power creep. Um,
Hey.
what they did is they went from like a two costs 1/1 to then being like, oh, now it's a one cost 1/1. Now it's a one cost 2/1. Now it's a one cost 2/1 with some sort of like minor ability like haste or something. So like
Hmm.
it slowly would like get stuff added to it. So when you had said like price and I was like, oh, you're talking mana cost, it's because I was looking at this and like, no, actually that is a valid that is like seemingly Magic's power creep is they don't really make things stronger per se, they just make things cheaper to get out
Yeah,
because
cheaper to use.
it's cheaper to use, which in
It's like you
turn
need like 3 lands instead of 5.
yeah, exactly, which in turn changes the dynamic of the game itself, which kind of makes sense to a degree, right? If you're playing
Yeah.
a red aggro deck and you're going against a green trample deck, which is basically you just get a big thing on the board that's like, let's say in this game, a big thing would constitute, let's say, like a 7 or an 8
Yeah.
power. Trample basically states if your opponent blocks with something that's like, let's say, a 1, you subtract their health, the creature's health, and then the remaining damage gets dealt to your opponent directly.
Yo. Yeah. I
So as a
know.
result, okay, well, okay, brother, I know,
I'm just saying.
I know you know, but like keep in
True,
mind there are people
true,
where
yes,
who might be
that is true.
listening.
I only know because the Gabriel card you can put trample on it. You
Yeah,
can
no, and
decide.
that's completely fair, right? So it's one of these kind of things where you start getting into the aspect of okay, great, um, because things are made cheaper, or even because things are made stronger on the trample side. Now by buffing things on the smaller end by making them cheaper, it winds up changing the general curve of the game, right? This is kind
Hmm.
of the same thing with going back to like Pokemon VGC.
Yeah.
If you have Fluttermane, which is absolutely bonkers a Pokemon,
Pokemon.
because it's
Technically a card too.
you're right, but I don't think the card sees play, does it?
I have no clue. I don't know enough about
We haven't played. We haven't
I don't
followed.
know enough about the TCG.
Yeah. But like from like a starting point, let's say like previous generations. I'm trying to think. Like, do you remember any like the starting Pokemon types from like any like several generations ago? Do you know what that would
For
look
what?
like? VGC like several generations ago. Do you know what that would kind of look like as like a starting like team?
No clue.
Okay, let's go with the rain team. So it might be
Yeah,
like Pelipper. Look, let's
or
assume
Polytoad.
or Politoed. We're going to assume no legendaries, and that's like the only restriction, just no legendaries. So like for
Yeah,
you might have like a rain team where it's like okay, we lead Pelipper or Politoed
yeah, Polytoad
because both of them have Drizzle, which basically brings rain out onto the field.
when
Actually,
they come out.
yeah, I was going to say actually let's switch it to Torkoal because that actually has a lot more playability that I'm sure both of us are way too familiar with.
I mean, I was gonna say, and then you'll have like a Kingdra that has Swift Swim.
Let's stick with that. Let's stick with that. Yeah, let's stick with that. So then you'll have a Kingdra that's paired with that. Pretty damn good attacker. Pretty reasonable.
Or Ludicolo. That also gets Swift Swim.
And it has Fake Out, which also allows you for
Yep.
like the initial turn setup. Here, Dylan, stick with one of those. Stick with one of those and explain like a what a first turn looks like.
Okay, we'll do the Ludicolo one because that makes more sense in
Ludicolo
my
paired with
mind.
say Pelipper.
Yeah, we'll go Pelipper. We'll get the birds in there.
Yeah.
We're going
So
the foul game.
so go ahead and
So
explain
you
what you
you
think the
start with
first turn.
Pelipper and Ludicolo, right? First turn, already you're gonna do Fake Out with Ludicolo. You know that for sure, and probably gonna do Hurricane with Pelipper.
Now, for the additional context, for those who haven't played, um, because Pelipper
Hurricane.
has
I
Drizzle,
was gonna say because Drizzle,
it has
Hurricane
Drizzle,
can't
yeah,
it can't miss in the rain.
and Drizzle auto sets up Rain just innately,
So you automatically have a strong move that can't miss and has a potential to confuse, which
and it
makes
has
it to
a 30%
where another Pokemon
chance.
could possibly hurt itself.
Ludicolo has Swift Swim, which is whenever Rain is active,
Yep.
doubles its base speed, and Fake Out is a 100% chance to strike with the highest possible priority
Priority
that will cause the opponent to
flinch,
flinch 100% guarantee unless they have
which means
that ability.
they can't move that turn. They
Perfect.
could have was it inner focus or something like that, which prevents flinching, or they could be a ghost type and they can't get hit by it.
Because it's a normal type. Perfect
Yes.
explanation. So talking with Fluttermane being like a starting Pokemon, you have Fluttermane paired with okay, if we said no legendaries, then it's probably either Incineroar or maybe you okay, let's see. Incineroar is a normal one that you would run with. You had the grass
Why
type.
wouldn't you do Whimsicott?
That's a good one. Okay, yeah, let's stick with
Prankster Tailwind.
there we go. Perfect. So the basic premise you'll have is that you'll have Whimsicott who has Prankster, meaning that when you use a status move, you'll have a +1
Anything that
priority.
doesn't damage.
Anything that doesn't damage will have a +1 priority, which won't be as fast as Fake Out, but it is going to be at a higher priority tier, which is incredibly important for most of like VGC first turns.
Yes.
Fluttermane has photosynthesis, that is, whenever the sun is active, or was it booster energy?
Booster energy.
Perfect. Is in your inventory the stat with the most investment, which let's just put it this way, it's not super important. Will get a boost of 1.3 or 1.5 times if it's specifically speed.
Yep.
So you're dealing with a Pokemon. Okay, actually, you explain like what the first turn would look like. I want to quickly pull up what the stats are of Fluttermane to compare against like Ludicolo or
Okay. Do Kingdra.
Oh, Kingdra, fair.
Because that'd be the strongest one that you would put it up against.
Yeah, and
So
Kingdra would
basically,
faster and then do like a damage.
yeah.
That's all you need to know.
So you would either do Whimsicott or Incineroar. I would do for like the start. Incineroar would be for like an intimidate, and then you can use Fake Out. Or if you use Whimsicott, you're gonna start with Tailwind to basically almost confirm that you're gonna get a Tailwind off, which in turn makes you faster. You can use either Dazzling Gleam, which hits both enemies. You can use Shadow Ball. Both of those are stab, which means that gets extra bonus because you're that type. Or you can use like Moonblast, I believe it's what it's called.
Yeah,
For
Moonblast.
a single type that does more damage. Because when you have spread moves that hit both, they get a little less damage.
Okay.
And then you would have like protect.
Yeah. Perfect.
Or energy ball, whatever, like what have you, because you could have choice specs, which makes your special attack even stronger, to where you do more damage, or you do the booster energy. It depends what you want to do.
And I'm definitely going to need to like look at the moves at a certain point. But to highlight here, just like the values, Fluttermane's always going to be the first value. Kingdra's always going to be the second value. So HP, Fluttermane has 55, which is pretty low. Kingdra has 75, which is also fairly low. I think is it safe to say that 95/100 is like good by like historic standards?
I think so.
Okay, so we'll stick with that. So attack 55 on Fluttermane, 95 on Kingdra, 55 defense on Fluttermane, and 95 on Kingdra. 135 special attack on Fluttermane,
which is insane.
Which is insanely high, with 95 on Kingdra.
Which
135 special defense comparative to Kingdra's 95. 135 speed on Fluttermane comparative to 85 on Kingdra. Keeping in mind that even though Kingdra gets double from
because of Swift
Swim, which will boost that to 170. I hope I did that math right. I did do that math right. You still have to compare that to 1.5 times, or Tailwind, which doubles it, or in the off chance that you're using booster energy, you either have 135 times 1.5, or sorry, 1.3 times 135, or if it's speed, 135 times 1.5, which again is still insane because that would be almost 70. I'm rounding it because 140. So in that case, that would be just shy of 200 base speed on Fluttermane without utilizing Tailwind, but using booster energy, comparative to 170 on Kingdra.
Yeah, so you're still going to outspeed, which is insane.
Then you get into the typage.
Yep.
Want to get into this real quick. So I swear I'm trying to go through this quickly. I don't want to like spend all our time on this.
All good.
So Kingdra is he takes double damage from
Dragon Water.
Fairy, and he's resistant to steel, fire, and water.
Yeah. But
he's normal.
That's right.
Because he's dragon and water, so
he's dragon wire type, and then Fluttermane is ghost fairy.
Which makes Fluttermane weak to ghost and steel. It's immune to normal, fighting, and dragon, and it's in this case it's resistant to bug. So although it takes
not as many resistances, but it has 3 immunities.
But it has the same number of immunities as Kingdra has resistances.
It's wild.
Absolutely insane. Then if we do a quick look, let's see. Kingdra is normally he can be a special attacker or not a special attacker. I'm trying to quickly do a quick reality check on what his special, quote unquote, best move might be. Giga Impact is the strongest move he can learn at 150. It's physical, but
you have to recharge.
Has to recharge. I'm trying to find. Okay,
which means you can't attack the next turn.
Okay, maybe that's actually a bad example. I mean, you could use Thunder on Fluttermane, but I think both have the Thunder.
I think so.
Okay, let's look at Dazzling Gleam, because I think that's like one of the big ones. So that's
that or Moonblast.
Moonblast should also be here. 95 single target special attack. Dazzling Gleam is 80. Attacks both players, so it winds up getting like a debuff, but like it's still fairy, still does a lot of damage. Fairy is a great
and it's stab.
And it gets stab compared to I know Kingdra would use Waterfall. That's 80 base physical with like a 30% chance to like
flinch. Or like Wave Crash.
Where are
but you? But that you take recoil damage.
120 physical, but you do, was it a third?
I think so.
Third to yourself. So like Kingdra has like some capability of being competitive. The problem is that it just requires a lot more to like set up. to be more effective. So you just wind up with this like unfortunate power creep that just like, how do you compete against that, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not fun.
it's not fun and it's unfortunate.
You
It's just
just
not fun.
you need us to tighten with heavy slam.
Brother, that one of these days we're gonna play again. Here's what I
I
would do.
know. I've kind of gotten back into it a little bit.
So if you're able to identify the next time it's local to you, maybe this is when Pokemon Champions come out. Maybe this is not. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the Annihilate team if you and I
Ooh.
don't come up with something better.
Yeah, the Annihilate team is
Obviously
fun.
heavily dependent on what's available.
Yes, if it's like you can use legendaries, you're kind of screwed.
No, I think an Annihilate can actually compete against legendaries.
Well, it wasn't Annihilate though, it was Primeape.
Oh, sorry, Primate, a Primate team. You're right. You're right.
It
You're
was
right. You're right.
Primeape with Anger Point
No, you were calling it out. Okay, you brought you.
and Eviolite.
So the basic premise is Annihilate wound up getting basically a stealth buff with Scarlet and Violet because Annihilate came into the picture. So that gave it an evolution. That
Which means you can
evolution
use Eviolite,
meaning that it can use
which
Eviolite. Go ahead.
that doubles both defensive stats.
Is it really double? I only thought it was 1.5.
It might be 1.5. I can't remember for sure, but I know it's both defensive stats.
I'll do a quick double check for us real quick. Okay,
Hacker fingers.
that's not correct. It's showing me a chair brand. 50%. Okay, it's 50%.
Okay, that's yeah.
It's still solid.
Still.
It's still a solid amount,
Yeah.
given the fact that booster energy is 1.5 on speed. Like that. Keep in mind for Pokemon, I think the only way to double a stat. Actually, wait, the choice items only do 1.5, don't it?
I think so.
Yeah, so like pretty much there's no items in Pokemon that allows you to straight up double a value. That's like very
Mm-mm.
rare. I think it's only reserved for like a Lightning Ball, which is like for only Pikachu,
Pikachu.
and actually worthless by virtue of Pikachu's stats being so low. I think its stats are all like in the 60s to 70 range, if not lower. So you wind up with this power creep. Oh, right. So Primate also got a secondary stealth buff. Well, I say stealth buff. I said all these things are stealth buffs. They're stealth buffs in the context that you wouldn't think of them as buffs, even though they are actually kind of crazy. In the case of Primate,
Primeape.
thank you.
Yes.
That move, Rage Fist.
Anger Point. Well, yeah, Rage Fist.
Rage Fist starts off with 50 base power, but every time he takes a hit, doesn't it just every time? So if you get hit by a multi-hit move, it procs on each one. You increase the base power of the move by 50, and it doesn't reset if you switch out. So
which means I mean people do that with Annihilate as well. You use Whimsicott beat up on Annihilate.
And you're
or in
entirely
this case, Primeape.
But the thing is that when you pair that with Anger Point, which is whenever you receive No.
I mean, yes and no. We would do it with the Urshifu, the Dark Urshifu, because with Anger Point, it's if you get hit with a crit,
yes,
your attack is basically maxed out.
Just straight up, like even if you had like -6 stats on your attack, it
just
inverts
max attack after that.
It gives you 12 stacks of attack up. So it becomes
which in turn,
isn't it like 3 times the attack at that point?
4.
It's 4.
It's 4 times attack.
That's right.
Yeah, 4 is the max.
So you're doing 4.
So then you have 4 times attack, and then what I like to do, because you're dealing damage. We're using Urshifu because we're gonna protect with Primeape. Urshifu hits through the protect, does a crit. You're a fighting type, so it's not very effective. So you have a little bit over half health. Usually from there, next turn, I usually go for a Drain Punch, because then you're going to heal back up to max health. And you have Eviolite, so you're very defensive.
Yeah, so just to give you like an example of his base stats real quick. HP 65, pretty low. Attack 105, pretty solid. Defense and special attack 60, Special defense 70, looking better, and a speed of 95, which is actually fair. I'd say that's actually like pretty damn
It's not
competitive.
bad.
Yeah. His resistances and weaknesses, he's weak to flying, psychic, and fairy. Fairy, I would say, is the only one that's really like super used unless you're dealing with an expanding force team. I think that's the only exception.
Or a trick room team.
Or well, yeah, I guess because if you're dealing with a trick room team, they automatically
They're gonna have at least one psychic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's resistance to rock, bug, and dark. Rock is a pretty damn
Mm-hmm.
offensive thing, and there's a lot of like dark types. Although I would say there's not a lot of dark moves that are often used. So
Yeah.
when you combine that with
Except Sucker Punch.
ooh, good point, Sucker Punch, because it has the priority. You often are able to pick up a bunch of
Yep.
KOs as long as your opponent's attacking. But Drain Punch is 75 to a single target, and I think it heals for what 50% of the damage done.
Sounds right.
So you
I got
wind
it.
up
You
being
keep
able to.
talking, I'll look it up.
Oh, I'm already. It's 50%.
Dang it.
I was already
He
looking
beat me
at it
to
to
it.
read the stats. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't even have to click the. It's literally just a click and a scroll. So keeping in mind, this guy is from the was it the first generation of games, just flat out, right?
Yes, literally the first game.
Like he still theoretically is viable, but I would argue only with the capability of guaranteeing a crit. And the
Yep.
only like ways to guarantee crits are some ice moves, which are not super reliable, if I remember correctly. Urshifu,
Yeah, it had a yep. Which you can
and
protect and still get a crit.
which
And
yes,
Masquerada.
Masquerada, which unfortunately you can't protect,
Flower Trick.
but Flower Trick is pretty damn solid in that regard.
Yeah, and then you would just fire Terra to where you don't take as much damage.
Yeah, and that because the Fire Terror would wind up getting rid of your weaknesses to Fairy and to Psychic.
Well, I'm just
Well,
saying
just for your
fire Terra if you're doing the Flower Trick route. Because
yeah,
then
but
it's not very effective.
didn't we run it anyway? Didn't we run it all anyway because of he's a fighting type and the fires are pretty reasonable like all
Yeah.
around? Okay, just double checking.
Yeah, you know, we still ran fire mainly for the fairy weakness. And technically you lose your flying weakness as well. It's just neutral.
Yeah, and I think Psychic becomes neutral.
Yeah. They all just become either neutral or not very effective.
Oh, right, and then we also had paired it up with fudging a Sunny Day team because Eruption is such
Koraidon.
a strong move.
Yep.
It's
Koraidon and Hisui Typhlosion with Eruption.
yes, because we were already considering Miraidon because it was a legendary format at the time. It only made sense to not run Torkoal with Eruption because like we got Typhlosion, and Typhlosion's ghost typing allows you to get around Fake Out, which is one of the most important openings in any of the metas. So
But we didn't use Torkoal. We used Koraidon because it sets up Sun.
yeah, but that's exactly my point. Is because we were using Miraidon already, it didn't make
Koraidon.
sense to have Koraidon. You're right. My apologies.
Koraidon's the electric one.
Yeah, my baby boy, but I have yet to get a chance to actually use you.
Like, he's very viable right now.
Yeah, because like he makes all the paradox Pokemon. Okay, this is a personal thing. I'm going to take it like maybe the next like, couple minutes here because I'm just going to take it. So they introduce the paradox Pokemon. They have a special ability that gives them the stat increase if there is a given condition active or booster energy. The condition's either electric field or being the electric terrain or sunny day.
Sun.
So sunny day is pretty viable because you have Torkoal, which is a solid Pokemon, already like still even inside of the current metas. He is actually viable, usually paired with a Trick Room team. I literally remember in the last year seeing him win against Urshifu being in the format, which is insane to think.
I mean, my only time getting to Masters in ranked was with the Trick Room Torkoal team.
Yeah, because Eruption is just such a strong flipping move that
especially if you use Oranguru with Instruct. Double Eruption.
Another Pokemon that was just added, giving you the ability to use a move a second time in the same turn. That's all. That's all a Rangaroo is
It
usually
wasn't
used for.
just added, but it's still newer.
Oh, was it not just added?
No, it's been in for a little bit.
Oh shoot, my bad. That's how disconnected I've been from like most recent Pokemon. I thought it was new. Fair enough. So Torkoal was actually pretty reliable already. You did see at the very beginning of Scarlet Violet, you did see some rain teams by virtue of the Zero to Hero guy. Can you fill in?
Palafin.
Palafin. Palafin? Palafin.
Yep, because Finizen is the pre-evolution.
He is incredibly strong in regards to base stats, but you have to like switch him in and out in order to basically make him viable. So like he already was kind of destroying like the previous meta, but that by the time you got Paradox Pokemon involved, that guy became basically worthless. Not actually worthless, but
Literally.
basically.
No one really uses him.
Because the setup is just so rough. It's kind of like the same thing with what is this? What is Sloth guy? The Sloth guy that like takes a turn to do turns.
Slacking.
Slacking has the highest attack stat out of the entirety of the franchise. But they nerfed him by making it where he could only move one every other turn. So to have a guy that you only had to switch out the once and then he was forever in this like incredibly strong state is honestly pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Also, Oranguru was introduced in Generation 7.
So that's 2 generations ago. That's pretty solid.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
On the 3DS.
That's fair. That's fair. So
Sun and Moon.
So to have Paradox Pokemon being added, where water is already a pretty solid typing by itself, just by virtue of the fact that it enables steel types and some others, you would see that taking over like the lower tier before Paradox Pokemon got involved. But once you got the Paradox Pokemon involved, the Sunny Day teams literally took over. Because as long as you're able to get Sunny Day team involved, you have all these Paradox Pokemon that could literally sweep the field within like
at least the past ones.
Well, yeah, within at least the past ones, because the future ones
needed the future ones look so cool.
They look so cool, and you know you had like Iron Hands, which is pretty solid.
Even only viable one
is realistic. Well. What is the water ice type with the
Iron Bundle?
Iron Bundle's also fairly doable because he has freeze dry.
It's just not used as much anymore.
Yeah, he fell off pretty quickly, unfortunately. He was a pretty good, like, you could take out a Pokemon in the first turn, but he just didn't have the staying capacity or the...
He was a glass cannon.
He was a glass cannon. And compared to Fluttermane, which is kind of like an all-rounder, honestly,
yeah,
it just ain't worth it. Not to mention, the biggest flipping critical thing that honestly blew my mind when they were creating this, there's only one Pokemon that's not legendary that can set up electric terrain.
By its own, not with an ability, with a move.
Yeah, because you're right. You're right, because pretty much any Pokemon can set up electric. Any electric type can set up electric terrain by itself. That's true.
But only Pincurchin can do it when it's brought in.
And honestly, one of the worst Pokemon in the game by virtue of stats.
Yep.
So you're wasting an entire slot just in order to get this thing set up. Compared to,
and there's more than just one Sunny Day setter. Because you also have Ninetales.
Not only that, but when you look at like the terrain types, grass terrain is very popular because you have Rillaboom, which is a very easy, very solid all-rounder. You had Olivier, which on hit creates it, which I did see in like some earlier...
Arboliva.
Arboliva, thank you. So on hit generates the glassy terrain, which I did see some use very early on in like the lower things before the Paradox got involved. But like
grassy terrain was nice.
But grassy terrain is just like used all over the place. And then you had flipping Ogerpon, which got involved. And then you started seeing this very popular duo of Grassy Surge, Rillaboom, with Ogerpon, both of them having Grassy Slide?
Grassy Glide.
Grassy Glide.
But I don't think Ogerpon got it.
Sorry?
I don't think Ogerpon gets that.
He does. I swear to you, he does. If you want to check me up, please go ahead. Please genuinely.
I'm doing it.
But like, this is a +1 priority move, which again, priority +1 is pretty solid, even though it's not like the other ones. And I think it has like a base power of like 55, but terrains add 0.3 multipliers to your damage anyway, making it more like a 70-ish. because I'm not going to do the math for that one. It just does so much flipping damage, and then when you pair both of them up, they both have priority, and they could just sweep your entire field, and it's like, what the heck? So you have the option
It does learn Grassy Glide.
Isn't that insane?
That's the thing. No one really used it on it because it was always Ivy Cudgel, Swords Dance, Follow Me, Horn Leech.
So it was a very like brief moment in the meta that they were using that, because what wound up happening is you wound up with it's not Iron Tail, is it? It's the Fergaraf alternative solution.
Armor Tail.
So Armor Tail prevents priority moves. So as a result, you saw that die off immediately, because that's when that started, the prevention of priority moves.
Yeah, and you'd have Psychic Terrain as well.
And you'd have Psychic Terrain, which prevents any attacking or opponent affecting priority moves. So that wound up being something that you could see for a little bit, but then it got wiped out immediately because of the changing in the meta, because people were using it, and then it just basically fell back to the whole thing. So the whole thing becomes like a, how the heck do you use electric terrain if the only Pokemon that can set it up that's not legendary? Because listen, you had like the Tau whatever from Alolan when they added the terrains, which they're a legendary. You can't use that. And Miraidon.
I think it's Tapu Koko.
Tapu Koko, yeah. And then
Miraidon,
which is just like, no, you can't add that in. So in the end, it's just like, okay, great. You were left with Pincurchin, which is the weakest one. At least for the rain, you had Pelipper, Kyogre, and Politoed, all three of which are valid, because you could theoretically belly drum with Politoed / Fake Out.
Yeah.
I think, no, it didn't have Fake Out, did it?
No, but I mean, you could have Ludicolo for Fake Out.
That's true. You can pair it very well. / the Pelipper having Hurricane, which is, again, a really solid, really strong move that you can utilize. So when you're comparing it to flipping Pincurchin, which I think its only real special move that was worth mentioning was Acupuncture, it's like, what the heck? Yeah. So not only is it one of these things where, okay, the only thing and electric terrain, the only benefits it provides is a 1.3 times multiplier to electric moves, and you prevent sleep.
Can't fall asleep.
That's it.
Among Us is not helpful.
It prevents Among Us, right? Theoretically. Like, most people run Grassy Terrain because it provides healing over time, and it absolutely nerfs the heck out of ground type moves, specifically AoE ground type moves. So Earthquake, and then there's one other that I can't think of. It's the slowing one. What's the one that does
AoE?
Bulldoze, yes. Both of those get cut in half. And that's actually,
and you can theoretically set up the sun as well.
Yeah, and it's very easy to set up the sun, but it's just one of these kind of things where it's just like, holy flipping crow, you're better off just using Sunny Day, because it cuts water type moves in half. It reduces the accuracy of lightning or thunder. It doubles the power of fire type moves, which in turn makes steel types way worse. And you automatically manage to initialize photosynthesis. So it's just like, what kind of command is this? Go ahead.
And chlorophyll.
And you have all the flipping chlorophyll used off. Like, you managed to get like all of these grass type Pokemon that you could just take advantage of.
Venusaur is viable.
If you don't remember, there's that short period of time where you had Torkoal, flipping slow as a molasses Pokemon that it was, that could set up Sunny Day automatically, that you run with flipping chlorophyll. It's the one that Hisuian Lilligant.
Yep.
With After Me.
That too. After You.
After You, sorry. So what you do is you use After You, because you have double the speed on an already incredibly fast Pokemon. You manage to
go first.
You make Torkoal move first.
Erupt.
With Eruption, you just can wipe out entire oppositions.
And if you want to use Venusaur, you could use Chlorophyll and Sleep Powder. And then like a wide lens to where you don't miss.
It's insane. It's just insane to me what they were thinking, choosing electric terrain of all things. No, seriously. If they had
it's wild.
Sorry?
It's wild. Like, they should have done another weather condition.
Yes. So there's only the 4 weather conditions, right? You have Sandstorm, Ice, Blizzard. No, not Blizzard.
Hail.
Well, hail got updated to powder snow. No,
So, I don't know. We're calling it hail.
We'll call it hail because it used to be hail. It used to do damage over time. It doesn't anymore. But hey, fair, whatever. Um, you then have rain
Sunny
and
day.
and sun.
Yep.
No, I'm not missing any, right?
Nope. Those 4.
Yeah, it's those 4. So sandstorm. Honest to God, rock, steel, and ground types getting like that combination can actually be pretty damn solid. The problem is it's basically off just pure power, and you can heavily nerf it by just running grassy terrain.
Yep.
So don't get me wrong, a little bit of damage over time with rocks that are like arguably like one of the weakest defending types, getting like a 1.5 defense boost is pretty solid.
And Sand Rush.
And then you have like Sand Rush. You have the one that reduces the accuracy when you're getting attacked.
Sand Veil, I think.
Sand Veil, yes. Sand Force. There's a speed variant.
I'm pretty sure that was Sand Rush.
Oh, it might be Sand Rush. Yeah, I
that
think
makes
you're right.
you faster.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about for Excadrill.
I think there also might be a when sand is active, your damage increases, but I could be wrong on that.
I don't know.
But there's no other like special interactions there. There's no move that is like when Sandstorm is active, do this, right?
Yeah, I think what they should have done is if they were gonna have it be weather conditions, it should have been Sandstorm and Hail.
Yeah,
because those aren't used as much.
Funnily enough, I think my personal take on this. I think that well, actually, you could have done either. I was going to say that hail makes more sense because you can go off the whole Ice Age thing, right? Going like, oh, yeah. Ice Age, but then I realized, oh, you could just go off of like Sandstorm with like fossils, so kind of like the point they're Stone Age, yeah. Right? That defeats the point either way. It's like, okay, fair enough. I'm going to defeat myself with my own argument, but like when you look at like snow or hail, the only things it does is allow you to use Aurora Veil, which is a strong move. Don't get me wrong.
Very good move.
4 turns of half damage on whatever type of damage that's being used.
Yep. It's Light Screen and Reflect together.
And that's really strong. That's really good. And Blizzard becomes a 100% accurate move, and it has, 120 base power or something? So, like, that's pretty damn good.
Something like that.
I think the only other effect it has is increasing your Ice's special defense by 1.5.
Yeah. Or they could do as they did where it was hail and rain, because then it's both of those have moves that in that condition doesn't miss.
Yeah, I think the only difficulty, right, is that if you do it with rain, then you wind up with the same problem as Sunny Day, right? Where it's it's very, very, very strong. Because keep in mind, it was controlling the meta without the paradox. Once the paradox got added, it swapped over. So. But you are right? Like if they had switched it to either Sandstorm or to Hail, that honestly would be
or both.
Honestly,
just both weather effects.
That would have been insane. Now thinking about it,
like one of them gets Sandstorm, the other one gets Hail. That's it. So like they get buffed between either of those weather conditions.
Well, if I'm being honest, I also think the fairy terrain and
misty terrain.
Oh yeah, sorry,
not fairy.
Misty terrain. Yeah, it's the fairy type, but it's misty terrain as well as electric terrain. But it is electric terrain, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I had to double check there for a moment. Like, okay, it's not electric. It's electric type, so so both of those
it's surging terrain.
It's electric surge, I think. But yes, like, both of those also are in desperate needs of buffs, right? Because like when you look at the terrain side of things, it has the same problem. Grass is pretty solid by itself from like a defensive perspective, and psychic terrain is great from an offensive perspective. So you wind up with 2 of the 4 things being useless in the same way that the weather, 2 of the 4 things are technically useless, right? So
it's hard.
So it's just like, why would you add something useful to something that's already useful? So anyway, that was my gripe. Honest to God, that's kind of an example of a power creep. Now Sunny Day is just kind of insane not running some variant of that, because you get both the benefit from like the fire type traditional builds and now the additional photosynthesis users, which
Paradox.
are already strong, paradox users that are already pretty damn good to begin with, just by virtue of stack composition.
Yep. And that is where we're ending for
And
now.
I was going to say, I'm trying not to add more because you are definitely.
Considering we're an hour and 19 minutes in.
Well, I saw that we were in.
No, it was good. It's solid. It's a solid episode where we talked about power creep. We didn't really go off too much. We stuck within power creep this time, I would say.
Yeah, we stuck within.
Like, I would say we didn't go off topic too much.
We talked about.
We just kind of like gave a little information on each.
The only thing we didn't talk about is theoretically how to prevent it. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit in regards to like, oh, with Pokemon they could have done this. That was the only thing I would say I wish we did more on, is how you could stop it.
Yeah. But anyways, this was the confession booth. Again, I'm Dylan.
I'm Steven. I remember this time.
Hope you all have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.